Right, hello folks. We are here today for the first round of the semi-finals for TSdL Season 14 between Sdao and Winston. Both players have appeared to start the map. First map will be Shipwreck Street. It's a little bit of a more awkward water map, so it's not as great for playing super aggressively. And let's see what the players have in store for us. Looks like they're actually very similar. It's a one tank CC White Bernhardt lineup. Let me just check if I got anything wrong. Okay, the drafts are going pretty fast. They're doing the exact same bands, exact same picks. Very telling of the current meta right now on global, I would say. The recent units are all just pretty busted. We're gonna first ban into Yenny and Nemia. Yenny is actually pretty potent because of the portals. And Nemia, because this is a water map that she can move in a straight line. And it's also very easy for her to actually ignore guard on this map. Okay, so the draft slow down for a bit. Sdao goes with second pick Andrew, which is just normal stuff. He has a Lina in his box. I'm trying to find the differences here. And I think, okay, both of them have Leon actually. Both of them have Gintoki as well. Sdao also has Joel and Coney. There's a Die Hard here. Die Hard's actually very uncommon. I don't think I've really seen Die Hard in this season actually. And Winston goes for Z2, so I think Z2 is just always good in the trade game, but it's a bit better if you can somehow find a kill on the enemy side rather than the enemy just trading on your side. If you can somehow find the kill on the enemy side, then Z2 is going to become very strong. Oh, actually, Sdao doesn't even have a Lightbringer, so he's just playing with Bernhardt and Poli as the tanks. Or rather, he doesn't really care about having a tank. So yeah, the difference is Lightbringer and Die Hard. Grand Show third pick for Sdao. Yeah, I mentioned this in the last series as well. Not really sure about how good this is, but Sdao is also kind of like a hybrid AoE box somewhat. Considering that only CCY is the healer, the AoE units are still pretty decent threats. But I think he just wants to focus down on securing his single target stuff. That's why he goes for Grand Show third pick. Lina fourth pick does threaten the Bernhardt a little bit. CCY is open, so he could pick it if he wants to, but normally my impression of CCY is that you pick her for utility, not for healing. So we'll see where we go with that. There's no tanks on Sdao's side, so Godham is pretty decent overall choice. Yeah, he does go for it. Bans out the remaining AoE unit and Joe and Coney, hybrid assassin, sort of, that can definitely threaten most of the units here. Could probably just one-shot burn actually. It's probably not for the revive units. And she already has the buff in Grand Shield, so just don't want to deal with that. Last pick between Gintoki and CC White. They're both somewhat alright. CC White somewhat mitigates the Godham Z2 aggressiveness. Okay, he does go for it. Kinda sad to see that Gintoki does not even deserve a last pick in a trading matchup. And we'll see what Winston goes for. Yeah, both of them are pretty decent, so not too much difference I think. Gintoki might be a little bit better for endgame and sustain through the AoE, because he doesn't really have a healer right now. And he doesn't really need Grand Show's buff at the moment. So I think Gintoki might be a bit better. But I think Gintoki against Andrew is actually a pretty tough matchup. He's straight up better than you, and he's cavalry. Got 23 seconds for him to make a decision. Okay, he goes for Grand Show. Yeah, it's alright. Just a trading matchup. It's a little bit bulkier than Gintoki versus these kind of units. No heal on this side, so we have to see if Lina can get decent damage out this game. But in terms of single target, it's almost 5 versus 3. So if Winston can somehow keep it 1-for-1, then he's probably gonna have the advantage, especially with a Z2, because Z2 usually snowballs very hard when you start trading. Then Sdao's goal is probably just to get Lina to cripple Winston's team enough so that they either miss kills or it's easier for his units to pick off the weakened stuff. But Winston can spread out pretty easily. Like, they're not really reliant on staying in Bernhardt's guard range. So just on paper, I think I would favor Winston's side a bit more. But Sdao does have the player 1 advantage in terms of initiative. So we'll have to see what he can make of it. His side is actually not great in terms of initiation. Grenshell as an initiator is just kind of lacking right now by today's standards. Andriel is not really a first-in unit, and usually neither is Ashen. And okay, Lina is mass attack double AoE, no Dark Reaper. I still hate the fact that this troop is Terrain Master. Why are there two separate cavalry Terrain Master troops now? Unicorn's a bit different. This one is just like a general troop. S/Accelerated 8. Mechanical Dragon Knights for Grenshell. I usually don't like this troop, but if you're SSM and she is kind of playing against quite a fair bit of physical melee units, so might actually work out. Like Winston is just gonna set up on his side of the field. Mass attack is blown out from Lina quite early, but the teammates don't really need her for the buff. Action can just buff herself later, so it's alright. I have a short memory, so I don't remember who is running Balance Blade. Derrida? I'm not sure if all of them are running it. Defense looks kinda high if you ask me. So, might be that. But anyways, it's just a regular S/Derrida. Not much point to bring an AoE, he just wants to trade in terms of single target. Not really going for any type of AoE play here. Most likely we're just gonna see both players set up on their side of the map and they're either waiting for a breeze or a positioning mistake. Winston doesn't quite have a way to get past the Lancer other than Grenshell's troop, her shield. So for him to play aggressively, he kinda has to throw one unit at the Lancer, which is not great. CC White is also a mechanism for manually proccing Lina's talent, but kinda still need the Lancer. So if you have to wait until a resummon, it's gonna be on turn 4, which is quite a while later. And I don't think we will have to wait that long for action to happen. We never know. Quite hard for Winston to position for an aggressive play because the act again will always come out from Sdao first before Winston can click his act again. So you kind of have to wait until you get a position where you are threatening the enemy, but they are not threatening you. No breeze on this. If this breeze, then we might see a play here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope, it's still too far from the Lancer, so just waiting right now. Although I will say, looking at the units on the map, Bernhard looks insane. I think only Andrew can deal with the Bernhard if it comes to late game. Lina can, but she doesn't have a single target attack, so might not be able to one-shot if Bernhard's full HP. Both Granshell and Ashen, I think, will not have enough damage to kill Burn. Although Burn is running cavalry troops, so he doesn't have the usual sustain from werewolves. But he does get more mobility on this map because fucking Terrain Master cavalry troops. Which means that he can actually just run straight line on the water. Which you will not be able to do without with the werewolves. Interesting that Lina chose to bring this troop when she's double AoE. Although even if you bring Warlocks, I think it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, maybe you do a little bit of counter damage when you get killed, and that's about it. This troop, she could potentially try to do more damage on her single target attacks. With the Andriel command and an attack buff, she has almost 2.1k int on this infantry Lina. Very interesting. Sdao's Granshell is not SSM. I don't know what this is, because usually you tend to see all stat accessories on Granshell. Not quite sure what this is. Stats are quite similar, although it has much more attack. That means Winston, as suggested by this troop, is probably SSM. Whereas this could honestly just be like a regular attack accessory. Or it could be some funny Wingshin guard or something. The troop itself is Terrain Master. Unicorn makes the entire unit Terrain Master. So if your unit was originally a foot movement, Unicorn would turn the entire unit to Terrain Master. Whereas for this Cavalier troop, it just means that if your hero is Terrain Master as well, then they will both be Terrain Master. So if your hero is just infantry or foot movement, even if you bring this troop, it will still be considered a foot movement overall. It has it's like in terms of priority, you can think of it. It's like running land troops on a flyer unit. Ooh, okay, act again on Lina with the mobility increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like Sdao wants to start off with his AoE. Just a little bit worried about the follow-up for this. Probably wants to get something done before the Godham gets a breeze proc. Because eventually you're gonna have to deal with the Lancer losing guard as well. Okay, are we gonna see an act again here? We are. Granshell Breeze. So what does that really threaten? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not quite anything, but if any unit from Sdao comes out for an attack, the Grand will be there to counter kill. And Grand is probably the least valuable unit here, so you are okay with just trading it for Lina, if that is what happens. As we saw in yesterday's series, Godham in a trade game can be very devastating if you're lucky enough to get the debuffs on the same guy. In a trade matchup, having your unit just run into the middle of the map is usually it's just -1. You're losing a unit for pretty much free. Yeah, you can kill whoever kills you, but you start with losing a unit, and that's usually just not good, especially when Godham is gonna have a revive. Yeah. I think it's very tough for Sdao to initiate. Somehow have to get Gren to breeze in range of Bernhard, but even if you get that breeze, I don't think she can kill anything. Godham is probably gonna keep himself tucked away behind the Bernhard. So really the only thing that Grenshell has the ability to touch is the other Grenshell, which we mentioned already. Winston is perfectly happy with just trading the bird away. Yeah, this draft is a little bit troublesome to play out. Might have to try to make a move with the act again. Seems to be his only opening right now. Trying to chain the act agains together. Just end the turn on something. That was running out on time. Yeah. Seems like he doesn't quite... He's not quite sure how to proceed as well. The tough situation. Winston doesn't really have to do anything. Just by nature of the draft, he has like 5 strong physical attackers. But if it comes down to it, it might not even be that bad of an idea to just throw Grenshell for the Lancer. Because you spawn the Zerida Orb, and Zerida can actually instantly take out one of the units with Revive. But if you want to make that play, you kind of have to go before the Lancer comes back up, so he has like 1.5 more turns to try that. Like, if Grenshell kills the summon and then Zerida kills the Andrill, that's very good setup for a Bernhard endgame. Because you get the Lina eventually, she has to walk up to throw her AoE. And between self-sustain from Ashen and the bulkiness of Burn, okay. Yeah, here it is, the Grenshell sack for the Lancer. D2 still has a move? Yeah, D2 still has a move. So, very good time to go for it because Sdao has moved all of his units. That means there's no running from this Zerida. And with Lina having no single target attack skills, that means she can't kill Grenshell on this hit, pretty much. Yeah, with the barrier, Mechanical Knights is pretty bad against magic, but yeah, Lina just ignores her and goes for the backline. It does take a fat chunk of everyone. Okay, I don't think this Bernhard is endgaming, unfortunately. Ashen can still heal herself, so Bernhard will probably be left to either just die at the next turn or take out the Lina with a Shield Bash. D2 can jump in and heal 20%. And alongside with the Werewolf's heal, I think it should still be able to kill anything here. Oh. Oh. Eh? Oh, that's the reflect damage. I was wondering why she was taking counter damage. Okay, now you have a problem. Oh, Ashen loses her revive on this turn, so Black Hole could take out both of them, but you are looking at a Z2 plus a full health Granshell on this side of the map. So if you don't go for the Black Hole here, then Zerida will probably air slash and take out one more unit here. And I don't really see a way back in. I think Winston should pretty much have this in the bag. 9 coins on CC White, but she can't summon Lancer yet, and Act Again has already been used. I think you just air slash the Ashen. Or, okay, we start with Granshell, that's fine as well. Presumably he's trying to save the move on Zerida, so that if Granshell kills her, then she can just air slash. Even if it doesn't kill, she recollects the orb, and basically you tank an extra hit. And there's still a whole God Hand here. And Lina does not have anything right now. Cold Shield and then 3C the Zerida so that she cannot move after this. So 60% health Zerida, but the werewolves are 70%. Oh, I thought you would try to air slash this. I think should be okay. It should still be a kill. Godham just walks straight into the Lina's range. Doesn't give a fuck. 1665 int. Stealing warriors. Probably not a kill. But it's still a full condition Granshell. Looks quite dire, but maybe Granshell can clutch it out in the late game. Let's see. Tries to go for the kill. Wow, it's not even close. Holy shit. Only kill the troops. Granshell is kinda out of juice right now. And Zerida doesn't quite have an attack buff. She's definitely not gonna kill this. Yeah, I think he should have just tried for the air slash last turn. Don't think there's a point in saving it when you're not gonna have an attack buff for basically the entire cooldown duration of air slash. Ooh. Okay, he chooses to air slash the Lina. Winston's units are kind of damaged. This might not be quite over just yet. You see why he just walks in, takes out one of Zerida's lives, and Lancer is back on the menu. So, Granshell has her barrier, which means that she will not... it's not possible for her to get the debuff from Godhand that makes her lose control. Air Slash is back on Winston's Granshell for next turn, but he doesn't have turn priority. Ooh, Air Slash on the Granshell. Doesn't kill. This should kill. Yeah, okay. Doesn't lose that much HP in the process. Oh, that accessory. Free skill. Okay, Granshell has to kill one unit now. Refreshes her buff. But 2 attacks from, like, 3C from this and an S slash from Granshell should mark the end of this game. While the S slash alone almost killed. Yeah. Game 1, I think it was just quite a big draft advantage. Like, that's just what Z2 does for a trade lineup, I suppose. Even if you have CC White to counter all the physical non-ignore guard units, your units are just weaker at trading compared to the other side, and the enemy just sacks a unit to kill your Lancer. And his last move was Lina, so couldn't even threaten the Grand Show. And to be fair, the Lina did do quite a lot. The double AoE actually got 2 kills, both on the Ashen and the Bernhardt. So it's not like she was a complete liability, but this lineup just didn't have the tempo to deal with. It's pretty much all either very bulky in the form of Grand Show and Bernhardt, and the other units have revives, so you need multiple hits to kill, and that draft did not have the leeway for that. Sdao drops Joe and Coney and puts up Wet Hand. Somewhat of a forgotten unit, but is still very potent in like hyper aggro matchups where both sides have no tanks. So with this Wet Hand on the menu, you'll probably be looking to ban out the Bernhardt a bit earlier. It's interesting that Winston has opted to keep Die Hard in the box. The way I see it, Die Hard's purpose is either to buff one of the female units, or maybe if he can get a breeze, he can find a stun in these kind of low dispel matchups. And yeah, we see on Winston's side, Sdao has banned out both of the tanks, although there is still a Poliel that can somewhat be a physical tank, as well as CC White. And Sdao picks up Nemia on the second pick, so potential for a turn 1 AoE blast combined with her, the Poliel and the Lina and Leon as well. Although Leon is okay on this map, but the problem is the good terrain are at the top and the bottom, so it's not that useful for running straight. Yeah, you technically have good range when you get near the mountains, but in order to get that range, you need to be near the side of the map, which is like a little bit of a fake range. Is Rosen not allowed or something? I think it's just a shift in the meta, because I think Rosen tank right now, I think there are multiple ways to either just assassin through the tank or straight up just kill them, like Z2, Bernhardt, all pretty strong threats into the tank. And I think with Ashen, because people want to first pick Ashen, they don't want to first pick Rosen anymore, so they just went back to the era before Rosen plus 3 tanks, which is CC White plus Lightbringer. Okay, we see Winston take up Poliel on the second, sort of as the emergency tank, and Sdao goes for CC White on the third pick as well. So both sides has a little bit of leeway with physical guard. Winston somehow gets the Andrew that has slipped past on the third pick because Sdao has spent 2 bans on the tanks. And yeah, Sdao is shaping up to have a somewhat of an AoE lineup again, this time with Nemia, and he does have 2 actor gains as well. Yeah, Winston has the 4th pick God Ham again. Somewhat similar draft on both sides, like Sdao changed out the Nemia for, I think last game he had Andriel, and Winston this time he has Poliel instead of the Bernhardt, and the Andrew instead of, what was it? Z2. Z2 got banned out on the third ban this time. And this time, both Grand Shows are left on the bench, and last pick Gintoki on both sides. So Winston has 3 units that offer self-sustain against the AoE lineup. But Sdao has a very tricky act again lineup to deal with. It's a CC White plus Gintoki, which is already a double act again, plus Ashen if you hold it to turn 2. And since there's no Z2 on Winston's side this time, you don't really need to worry as much about like any sort of death on your side of the map. This polio second pick doesn't seem to be the most useful. It's just kind of there for tanking. Ooh, CC White straight up brings Mass Heal. He does not want to gamble bringing Inspire and having only 2 coins on turn 1 against a potential Poliao turn 1 initiate. Speaking of turn 1 initiates, we see Nemia just going straight in. No attack buff, but still somehow does 60% of the entire enemy team. But this also straight up activates Gintoki. But the big thing here is probably putting all the non-flying units in water. Okay, not quite as pain as some of the Nemias I've seen. So it's roughly 40% off everything. Lens Phalanx, Poliao, and eats a bit of fixed damage from the terrain. Let's see who is going to kill this Nemia. Sdao can just confidently throw the Nemia up because his lineup really benefits from units dying. Both Gintoki and Lina. They don't mind things dying. This time Lina brings double AoE plus Dark Reaper, so she's reliant on Ashen buffing her pretty much. Since CC White does not carry mass attack either. So this is actually a faction buffless team. Maybe Rosen come back for protect the Isolde meta then. I mean, if you are a defensive player, you'll probably still favor that playstyle. But I wouldn't say... Like, I watched a little bit of like the China-Taiwan stuff, and I don't think Rosen plus tank ever really fully comes back from this point. Until like maybe the Ice Queen, yeah, the Imelda. Then Rosen kind of comes back, and even Elma, because AoE kind of becomes super obnoxious again. Wow, just seeing the Lina just walk up. Oh, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it's just outside the range of Proteus. And before Winston can like move his units in range, the Lancer will come out from CC White. Ooh, are we gonna see an act again on Poliao? Yes, we are. So this is like a little bit of a deterrence for CC White to make a move, basically. If you try to run up and put a Lancer, the stun is gonna come out. But we're gonna see act again on Lina, because Lina was lucky enough to get the natural proc of her talent. A 40% chance when she ends turn to get the buff. Unfortunately, this stun is not gonna do anything because Mass Heal is just gonna come out. And this AoE is about to cook. So, wow, yeah. The Poliao second pick doesn't seem to quite be working out. Gintoki dodges to the side, so doesn't really want to commit Gintoki to the fight at the moment. Seven movement on Lina. Yeah, AoE hits 3 people. 21%, 27%, 15%, 43%. transform on Godham actually gets a very considerable amount of heal. Wait, what? He has a heal block. So where did all that heal come from? Oh no! The out of control debuff is on Lancer. If you can somehow get it on Sissy White, then you can kind of it's possible to make a comeback basically. And Andrew now has Terrain Master, so he doesn't care about the water anymore, which means that he can also just run onto the Poliao's tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Scooter Dash gets 1 life off the Ashen. I don't know if that's the correct play, because I think Andrew will now just look to kill Gintoki. Nemia doesn't really have a good target. Oh, does it not reach? Mobility down from the terrain. That's unlucky. Oh wait, no. Oh no. My bad. He doesn't have Terrain Master yet. The Godham's still alive. Yeah, he only had an Act again, not Terrain Master. So he still carry movement. You can see here. Okay, so Toki still has his sugar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3 reaches the other Gintoki, which means that Winston cannot just kill the Lancer troop. Right now, there's nothing that threatens this Gintoki. I think you might just have to bite the bullet. Poliao just killed the Lancer, and then you see what Gintoki goes for. Okay, I suppose this is fine as well. Poliao just runs back and guards the Godham. Neither of these units can go past guard. Nemia requires the enemy to be in water for a skill to ignore guard. Right now, I see a potential play is Godham suiciding into Gintoki to reactivate the Andrill for Andrill to kill the Gintoki. Because if you can get rid of the Gintoki while keeping yours, I think you're in good position for the endgame. Because Ashen cannot bypass guard, and Poliao is still relatively healthy right now. So you can get enough time to basically get back your units into the Poliao's guard and play from there. Ashen is just looking to... Oh, I thought she was gonna look to stun, but she still has immunity from the previous turn. And Ashen cannot run back because she failed the kill. Yeah, I think now's the time. Suicide into Gintoki. Okay. Right now, I'm just looking at this guy. I think if Winston can solve this guy, just remove him from the map, then he should have a pretty good shot from here. He keeps the Godham, which in turn makes the Andrew quite useless this turn. Could still go here and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Long time investment, get some heal. Lancer moves forward, can't control it. Nemia gets back pretty much full health. still has attack, but Poliao no longer has 2 range guard from Lance Phalanx, so both sides don't really want to kill anything. Ooh, 4 range. That might have been a mistake. Like he just forgot that Nemia had a 4 range attack. Now shit's bad. I think that was a pretty big mistake. And it's not like he was low on timer, he had time to count. Yeah. The way I see it, I think my game plan just now with suiciding the Godham on, like, you could even attack Ashen if you want to gamble for that life. You just do it on melee, and you would probably still die from counter. Okay, but Andrew does have a revive now. So, could try to kill the Ashen. Well, not even kill. No, oh. He doesn't even stun because he only has 1 stack of talent. Yeah, I think Gintoki will just clean out the rest of this game at this point. Sdao can just kill anything he wants, as long as it's not Godham. Okay. Let's go in. East. This is gonna be a triple kill. Gonna hit the Godham and kill the other 2 in the process. Unfortunately, CCY still has an act again, which means this game is over. Even if Andrew kills this, Nemia attacks, and then act again, aim with the skill, and that will be game over. It's just too many units for Andrew to deal with right now. Well, this move again has no cooldown. Winston's giving it a go, but ooh, okay. I don't think that saves you though. Mr. Gintoki is back to party. He's trying to run to the other side, I think. But can't run. 7 mobility. There's no way. CCY still has act again. If you're double cavalry, maybe you could try for something like that. There's just no way. He could even just act again the Ashen. Yeah, full HP. Don't need to think so much. Reactivate the Gintoki just to make sure that there's absolutely no chance. Although I'm pretty sure Ashen with 2000 plus 2200 attack is gonna delete this. No tameni. Yeah. So Sdao ties up the game the series 1-1 now, and we're gonna look at game 3. Not much to analyze on the game 2. I think it was just the sequence during the second last turn. I definitely could have activated the end drill a bit earlier, I think. Sdao's draft was pretty nice, right? Like, he had like these suicide AoE units, but then it's a draft where there's a lot of punish when an enemy kills your unit, with both Gintoki and Lina activating. And this time, the CC White Lancer was actually doing a decent job. Also, the Po Liao second pick wasn't quite great, I suppose. I think he just picked it as a reaction to Wet Ham being in the box. And he just wants to have that, like the Lance Phalanx. But Po Liao's impact herself was very negligible in that game. Like, the stun is just completely counteracted by the CC White. Maybe if you want to draft that way, you will need to spend a earlier ban on CC White. And also, usually if you pick Po Liao early like that, you will tend to give Yanni on the other side, because you kind of soft check basically any sort of offensive model. But because he couldn't see the ban, I think, like he didn't, I'm not exactly sure on the draft priority. I think he had to ban the enemy before his own one, so he couldn't see that his tanks are gonna get double banned. But anyway, back to this game. Yeah, nothing new here. Like, same shit. Winston dropped out his Leon for a Wet Ham as well. Okay, Z2 is back on the menu. And this time it's also a P1 Z2. So we will have to see if she's gonna play the main role again. This Die Hard, despite being a uncommon unit, hasn't really seen play yet. Like, it gets banned out before Winston ever wants to pick it. Now this time he will pick up Bernhardt on the second pick in order to counteract the threat of basically Z2 plus 1. Remaining units here do not kill Bernhardt. Yanni is out, Nemia is out, Andrew is out. So this time it's a lot harder for Z2 to do what she did in game 1. And this also just completely stops the Wet Ham, I would say. Okay, Bernhardt versus Bernhardt. But Sdao still has multiple units that can kill Bernhardt, like this guy, this woman. We saw in one of the previous series, no attack buff versus like turn 1 with no buff burn, and she got a kill. Winston might be trying to go for an AoE route right now, because it's really difficult to punch into Bernhardt with this lineup. So we're probably gonna see Godham again. Yeah. Andrew used range attack if kill Gintoki and run. Nemia attack means she can run out of AA range, maybe? You mean in the previous game? Not sure what exactly the situation you're talking about is. I think in game 2, it was basically just Winston losing his Gintoki. Like, he really needed that Gintoki alive to endgame. Like, even if he didn't make the suicide play, As long as he still has Gintoki, I think there's a chance. But because he just lost it to Nemia like that, then it's just game over. Oh, I think I know what you mean, but it doesn't matter because there's still a Ashen. So either way, it's 2 attacks, and Andrew is not that tanky. He can't tank 2 attacks. So it didn't really matter actually. Like the CCY is just gonna heal the Ashen back to full. Anyway, this game I would favor Sdao's draft more this time, just because Sdao has an actual way to kill the Bernhardt. Whereas Winston is probably gonna have to go for an AoE route. Possible, but not the easiest with these units. Okay, are these guys Terrain Master? No, they're not. Okay, so Vanguards are infantry movement. Winston is not having any of that shit that we saw previously. He just clicks buff on turn 1. No risk of dying to Nemia instantly. So yeah, Winston's Bernhardt is bringing an infantry troop, which means that he will get affected by the water debuff from the AoE if that comes out. Air slash. Yeah, we are seeing AoE from Godham. But Godham's AoE is very small, it's only 2 blocks. Ooh, but we are seeing Air Slash from Zerida, so it's quite interesting. Air Slash from Gintoki as well, so there's actually only 1 AoE from Godham at the moment. I thought at least Zerida would bring her AoE. I think it's not bad. Because it stops Ashen's act again, Bernhardt's act again, and Godham's transformation as well. It doesn't stop the transformation, but you can't attack after it. Yeah, it's basically 5 act again units. I didn't think that Air Slash was better here. Are we going? Yes, we are. Nothing on Sdao's team can kill in one shot. So Godham is gonna go in, throw out the AoE, lose 1 life in return. Z2 jumps in and hopefully kills the Bernhardt after the chip from Godham. Because Godham's AoE should be able to reach, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, yeah. So if you try to use a unit to block, then that unit will be outside of Bernhardt's guard range because Iron Fist is not activated yet. Then you can just kill that unit. And of course, there's this. Nemia just goes in, pumps the AoE. Basically blocks the straight line path for Godham. So I think Winston will just kinda have to take this offering. Single target attack, not quite enough. Not nearly enough. Infantry troops are pretty tanky. Arguably even tankier than werewolves. Because werewolves are a bit weaker on the magic side. Whereas infantry troops tend to have a lot of damage reduction from the troop decks. Okay, so you're probably gonna take this offering, but who do you take it with? Because Godham is gonna have to transform for it if he wants it. And if you transform, that means you are going to lose your threat range. If you don't transform, that leaves you open to being counter-killed. Which is also not good. Yeah, I think you just have to kind of throw it up. Okay, let's see who gets the. Ooh, that's big. That is massive. The Bernhardt is gonna run all the way in front now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can you cast a skill with this? No, cannot cast Unified Defense. This is massive. Z2 can't really do anything right now. So it's probably just gonna end turn. And then when Godham kills... No, he can't kill this. This is massive. That might just be game winning. He's trying to finish off the Bernhardt. Which will act against Gintoki. Gintoki takes out 1 life. Yeah, unfortunately he won't be able to find the second one. So might get a little bit lucky and cause the lose control on. Oh, okay, never mind. He just goes for Ashen. Ashen is a revive though. Heal reversal, transform into demon. I think it's okay to just... Oh. Shield bash? Yeah, looks like a shield bash. Where's that heal coming from? Does Bernhardt have a natural heal? Or is it Bonnet? 20%. I don't see a heal anywhere. So I think this is a Bonnet Bernhardt. Shield bash stems the bleeding from this. Air slash on Godham, losing the first life, going onto the forest to make sure that she's as safe as possible. Pretty much nothing can kill this right now. Oh. Godham can just walk back. AoE for fun. It's a lot of heal. I also have no idea where this healing is coming from. I don't see healing anywhere. This is just the revive. How did he go from 30% to 70%? Where's the healing? Oh, okay, never mind. It's here. 20%. So it's Bonnet plus this thing. Revitalize being cast on Ashen because she does not want to lose her stacks at the start of next turn. I mean, Ashen can just hit this, right? It's kind of free. Then when the... Oh, okay, guess not. I thought that Winston would want to save a... Ooh, the stun unit moves first. Yeah, I thought you would hit this with Ashen first, so that you know you get an attack out while the apotheosis is still stunned. And when he's at this 70% health, I think Gintoki S/slash can still kill this. Okay. Attack buff, presumably. Sure, I guess. Yeah. Just now I mentioned the double attack on the Bernhardt. Well, there's a double attack now. 7 movement. And then... the fuck? OBS Studio disconnected. Is my chat still working? Should be still working. Don't scare me, my PC. Alright, you S/slash this, you kill this, weaken the Bernhardt enough for your Gintoki to finish off the kill. Mimir Hammer heals a little bit. Should not be enough to heal the Bernhardt. I mean, not enough to tank this hit. Damage dealt plus 20%. Attack first. 1.8k attack. It's gonna go down to 1.6. Is it possible? Ooh. Oh, okay. We're just going to the other side. What was the sugar for, though? Was there a need to use the sugar? I guess he just wanted the passive AoE back, just in case, and it also cycles the S/slash. So now you have a Z2 with 3C, and a Gintoki just in the middle of the map, versus 2 flyers. Without a defense buff, this should still be a kill. Can just leave it there though. I think Bernhardt just goes up and guards both of these guys. And Ashen with no attack buff does not kill Burn. I think we've seen that enough times. It does stun, but if the Ashen comes in, it's just a free kill for Zelda because Gensha's kind of useless for a while. C2 first. I mean, not a bad move per se, because again, we are back to the end game between Ashen and Bernhardt. Godham still needs to stall for another 2 turns for his transform. Ooh, that's not good, I think. I think if you want to, you have to try it on Bernhardt. This basically accomplishes nothing. Does get the skill back next turn, I guess. So next turn, she can try to go for the Bernhardt kill with the attack buff. It's really tough though. Okay, go Ashen. Do your thing. I mean, no 2 ways around it, right? You gotta try to get this kill on Burn. Oh, she's running away? There's no way, right? I think that's unnecessary. Okay, I guess that works. I guess that works. Because I would have just waited, and even if the Ashen kills, you will have transform on God Hand on this turn. And God Hand plus Zerida should be able to close out the game anyway. I don't think this kills even. Yeah, okay. So Winston will take this semifinals 2-1. I think for game 3, I would say, yeah, it goes back to Z2. I think Z2 did her impact was good. What Z2 basically did was, I think it forced Sdao to throw out the Nemia. Did not really meaningful damage to Bernhard, and basically started off the trade on unfavorable terms. And Z2 endgame is still like revives. And obviously the debuff on the Bernhard was super huge. That basically killed the Bernhard. And I think this series basically is telling me that Gitoki is just not quite washed up yet. He can still do stuff. It's fifth pick, but the act again, attack first, chip damage, and just overall attack first shenanigans carried the series in game 2. And game 3, he was just basically there for the act again so that the double hit could kill the Bernhard and secure the game. Yeah, that's basically my read on this series. So yeah, I'll thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.